Hello friends, welcome to Learner's Planet. Friends, in this session I am taking some problems from CAT paper 2000. We'll be taking some problems based on number system, geometry and percentages, or maybe we can say arithmetic and permutation combination. Okay, so let's begin the session, and just to remind you, these are the questions from CAT 2000. Okay. Now let's try this question. Friends, before we proceed further, I would recommend you to try the problems on your own, then match your answer and solution with mine. It will definitely help you to boost your confidence if you get the correct answers in shortest span of time. Okay. Now let's take this first problem. Let D be a recurring decimal of the form D is 0.A1, A2, A1, A2, A1, A2, where digits A1 and A2 lie between 0 and 9. Okay. Further, at most one of them is 0. So then which of the following number necessarily produces an integer when multiplied by D? Friends, you might have heard about the concept of recurring decimals. Okay. So this is D is nothing but a recurring decimal, or a rational number in which the number after decimal form a certain pattern. Okay, so it's D is equal to 0.A1, A2, A1, A2, something like that. So I can write it like A1, A2, 0.A1, A2 bar. Okay, that means this number can be written as A1, A2 by 99. Now we got the number, what is D? That is A1, A2 by 99. But we are not clear what is the value of A1 and what is the value of A2 over here. We are given that both of them are lying between 0 to 9. But then also we are not clear whether they are same or whether they are different or whatever the value they are having, right? So what is the possibility over here that to make this number as integer, to multiply this number at least with 99? Okay, so if we multiply this number A1 A2 by 99 to 99, we will be getting A1 A2, and we are given that A1 and A2 are digits between 0 to 9. So definitely A1 A2 will be an integer. Okay, so the minimum number to be multiplied is 99. Okay, after that we can take any other number. If we multiply this expression by that particular number, that should be multiple of 99, so we will be getting an integer. Okay, so in the options we are having a single choice, that is 198. So if we multiply this expression A1 A2 by 99 to 198, we will be getting an integer. Okay, friends, you must be knowing that how do we write this sort of number. Suppose it is 23 bar, so it is written as 23 by 99. If it is 0.52 bar, then it is written as 52 by 99. 0.52 bar is 0.525252, something like that. So in this case we are getting A1 A2 A1 A2 A1 A2, so it will be A1 A2 bar. Okay, so if you are having bar on two numbers, you will divide the number by two nines. If you are having bar on three numbers, suppose 0.537 bar, then you have to divide it by three nines, that is 537 by 999. Okay, so these are the general things that you have to keep in your mind. Okay, so the problem solution to the problem, this particular problem is 198. I hope your answer and solution is matching with mine. Now let's try this problem. If a1 is equal to 1 and an plus 1 is equal to twice an plus 5 for n is equal to 1, 2 and so on, then a100 is equal to. Okay, friends, we just find out the first 3-4 numbers of, or maybe numbers in this particular sequence, then we will be able to generalize it. Okay, now first of all, a1 is equal to 1. Now a2 will be 2a1 plus 5. Okay, suppose I put n is equal to 1, then it will be a2, so it will be 2a1 plus 5. So a1 is 1, so it's 2 plus 5, 7. Similarly, a3 is 2a2 plus 5. So 2a2, that is 2 into 7, that is 14 plus 5, 19. Okay, similarly we can find out a4, though it is not required, we can even find out the sequence from these datas only, but then also for the better clarity of concept and to get assured of the answer, we just find out. Now a4 is what? 2 times A3, that is 38, plus 5, that is 43. Okay. Now after this, we will go by option. Okay. Now let's do it from option A. Suppose this is the value of A100. Okay. If A100 is there, then there is 2 raised to 99. Okay. So in that case, we try to find out the value of A2. So A2 will be, if for 100 it is 99 over here, that means for A2 it will be 1 over here. So it is 5 into 2 raised to 1 minus 6. So it's 10 minus 6, 4. But we are having the value of A2 as 7. So this is the incorrect choice. Similarly, over here, it's 5 into 2 raised to 1 plus 6, that is 10 plus 6, 16, but we are having 7 over here, so even this is incorrect choice. Okay, now for the third, it is 6 into 2 raised to 1 plus 5, that is 12 plus 5, 17, but we are having 7 over here, so even it is incorrect choice. Now let's take the fourth example. Fourth option, it's 6 into 2 minus 5, that is 6 2s are 12 minus 5, 7. So it can be the correct choice, though all three we have rejected, so we can be sure of that this is the correct choice. But for assurance, let's try for A3 also. So it's 6 into 2 raised to 2 minus 5, that is 2 2s are 4 into 6, 24, minus 5, 19, and we are having the value of A3 as 19. So definitely this is the correct choice. Okay, do not try to find out any formula for the expression. It will take a lot of time of yours, and you know that time is the biggest restriction in any competitive exam. I hope you are clear with the method. Now let's try this problem. Seems to be difficult one, and maybe a lengthy one also, but let's start. What is the value of the following expression? 1 upon 2 square minus 1, 1 upon 4 square minus 1, and the calculation is going till 20. First of all, let's write this problem in a square minus b square format. It is 2 square minus 1 square, 4 square minus 1 square, 6 square minus 1 square, and something like that. So it would be 2 minus 1 into 2 plus 1. So what I can do is, it's 1, 2 minus 1 is 1, and 2 plus 1 is 3. Similarly, it is 1 upon 4 minus 1 and 4 plus 1. So it is 3 into 5. Then 1 upon 6 minus 1, 6 plus 1, that is 5 into 7. Okay, similarly we will be going till 1 upon 20 minus 1, that is 19 into 21. Okay, now we see the difference between these two is 2 everywhere, isn't it? And this term is same to this term, this is same to this. Okay, so we can find a solution to this if we multiply the entire expression by 2 and divide it by 2. Okay, so it's divide and multiply by 2. So it's 1 upon 2, 2 upon 1 into 3 plus 2 upon 3 into 5 plus 2 upon 5 into 7, 2 upon 19 into 21. Okay, so it's, now it can be written as 1 upon 1 minus 1 upon 3, isn't it? It's 3 minus 1 upon 1 into 3. Similarly, it can be written as 1 upon 3 minus 1 upon 5. So it's 5 minus 3, that is 2 upon 3 into 5. Similarly, it is 1 upon 5 minus 1 upon 7, and it is 1 upon 19 minus 1 upon 21. Okay. Now we can see the alternate terms are getting cancelled. This is this minus 1 by 3, this is positive, this is negative, this is positive. Similarly, we'll be getting the previous term as minus 1 by 29, and here it is 1 by 19. Sorry, the previous term will be minus 1 by 19. So both of them will get cancelled. So finally we are left with half of 1 minus 1 upon 21. So that is 20 upon 21. So half of 20 upon 21 is 10 upon 21. Okay, so I hope you are clear with the method of this particular problem. So whenever you see this sort of sequence, when you just try to solve it like this. If the difference is 3, try to multiply it and divide it by 3. So I think some clue you will get to solve the problem. Else it will be really difficult to solve in the given restriction of the time. Okay. Now let's solve this problem. Let S be the set of prime numbers greater than or equal to 2 and less than 100. Multiply all elements of S with how many consecutive zeros will the product end? That means we have to multiply all the prime numbers from 2 to 100. So it's 2 into 3 into 5 into 7 into 11 till it is 97. So we are having around 25 numbers to multiply. And after multiplying 25 numbers, we will be getting a unit digit, and what that unit digit is, that is 0, but we have to find out how many zeros will be there. Okay, so definitely if the question is asked in CAT examination, this approach which we are discussing may not be correct, or may not be correct. No, it's not correct, because the question and this problems, both of them are and logical. Okay, so we have to think logically. Now how do we get a 0? We get a 0 with 2 and 5 combinations. If we are having a single 2 and 5 combination, we'll be getting single 0. If we are having 2 2 and 5 combination, we will be getting two zeros. So if we are multiplying this sequence, how many 2 and 5 combinations we are getting? Okay, so it's 1 2 and 5 combination. Now after that we won't be getting any 2 and 5 combinations, because any multiple of 2 will not be a prime number, and any multiple of 5 further it won't be a prime number. Okay, so and this is a sequence of prime numbers, so we won't be getting any 2 and 5 combinations anymore. So there will be a single 2 and 5 combination, so there will be a single 0 at the end of the product. As simple as that. You need not multiply all the numbers. I hope you are clear. Now let's try this problem. Here n is 1421 into 1423 into 1425. What is the remainder when n is divided by 12? Friends, you might have attended my number system session in which I have discussed this sort of problems in detail. Okay, so here I won't be taking much of your times to explain it. I just be very fast. See any number, suppose it is the format of, we have to find out the number when it is divided by 12. So the number are in the format of 12x plus a, 12x plus b, and 12x plus c. Okay, where a, b, and c are the remainders. That means 1421 and 1423 and 1425, they can be written as in this manner. Okay, so when you are going to multiply all this, what is the remainder you will be getting if you divide that particular expression by 12 will be nothing but a into b into c. Okay, that is this remainder into this remainder into this remainder. Okay, just take a small example so you'll be better cleared. Suppose I have maybe 10 into 11 into maybe 12 into 10 into 11 into 13 into 14, and now I wish to find out the remainder if I divide this expression by 9. So what you do is you divide the individual number by 9 and get the remainder. Here the remainder is 1. Similarly, if I divide 11 by 9, I'll be getting 2 as a remainder. In this case, I'll be getting 4 as remainder. In this case, I'll be getting 5 as remainder. Now just multiply all the remainders once again and finally get a remainder after dividing by 9. So 5 4s are 20, 22s are 40. 40 if divided by 9, the remainder will be 4. So if this calculation 10 into 11 into 13 into 14, if you multiply all this number and divide by 9, you'll be getting the remainder as 4. The same funda we are applying over here. Okay, so what we are trying to do, since we have to find out the remainder if this expression is divided by 12, what we try to do is we just try to find out the individual remainders and then multiply them, and further we will eliminate 12s. Okay, so 1421, if it is divided by 12, what will be the remainder? That's first of all, let's find out that. So it's 12 ones are 12, 2, 2, 10, 101. So remainder is 5 over here. If remainder is 5 over here, it will be plus 2, that is 21 plus 23, that is the remainder will be 7 over here. Then 7 plus further 2, 9 will be over here. So in all, the remainder will be 5 into 7 into 9. Okay, now 5 sevens are 35. 35 if it is divided by 12, the remainder will be minus 1, since 36 is multiple of 9. Now minus 1 into 9, if it is divided by 12, the remainder is minus 9. So finally the remainder will be not minus 9 but 12 minus 9, that is 3. So this expression, if divided by 12, the remainder will be 3. Okay, as simple as that. If you just try to make some problems on your own, you begin with the small numbers so you can cross verify the calculation by your calculator, then you will be getting the confidence on the method. Okay, so that's a very clear and easy algebra behind this concept. Okay, suppose I have a expression x plus a into x plus b. If I have to divide this expression by x and I have to get the remainder, then first of all let's expand it. It's x square plus ax plus bx plus ab. Now you see that every expression is having x as a factor. That means you won't be getting remainder from any of these. You will be getting the remainder as ab only. Okay, so if these numbers are like in 12x plus a format, 12x plus b format and 12x plus c format, definitely a, b, c, the product of a into b into c will be the remainder. Now this x can be different also, because I have chosen a common multiple, but it may be different. But in any case, the remainder will be a into b into c, since we can see the expansion. And this is really very important concept. On this concept, every year at least one problem is coming on CAT. Now let's try this problem. The integers 34041 and 32506, when divided by a 3-digit integer n, leave the same remainder. What is the value of n? Before we do this problem, I just take some smaller examples so you will be able to understand the concept which we are going to use over here. Okay, friends, I won't be discussing much algebra of it. For that, you can definitely browse my number system sessions, because if at all I start explaining the algebra behind it, it will be taking lot of time. Okay, so suppose I take two integers, maybe 11 and 15. Okay, the same problem I'm solving over here. The integers 11 and 15, when divided by an integer, leave the same remainder. What is an integer? Maybe suppose x. Leave the same remainder. What I'm doing over here is, instead of 34041, I'm taking 11, and instead of 32506, I'm taking 15. So definitely the problem is becomes simple and we can understand the concept. Okay. Now 11 and 15, if they are divided by an integer x, they leave the same remainder. What is x? That means what is that integer? Okay. Now what I do is I just find the difference between these two, that is 15 minus 11, it's 4. Now 4 and any factor of 4, if we divide 11 and 15 by 4 or its factor, we will be getting the same remainder. Just try. If 11 is divided by 4, we'll be getting the remainder as 3. If 15 is divided by 4, we'll be getting the remainder as 3. If we use the factor of 4, that is 2. If 11 is divided by 2, we'll be getting the remainder as 1. And 15 is divided by 2, we'll be getting the remainder as 1. Okay, now let's take one more example to elaborate it. Suppose I have 13 and 19. Now 13 and 19, when divided by an integer y, leave the same remainder. Further, if you divide 13 and 19 by that difference, you'll be getting the same remainder. Okay, this is very simple division concept. No very big algebra I'm using over here. So to generalize this, I'm sorry, in this case 13, if it is divided by 6, the remainder is 1. 19, if it is divided by 6, the remainder is 1. Okay, and how did we get 6? It is 13 and 19's difference. The same concept will apply over here. We find out the difference of 32506 and 34041. Okay, so it is 1535, but we don't have 1535 over here in options. So let's see if any number is factor of 1535. So I can just see 307. If I multiplied it by 5, I'll be getting 1535. So 307 will be the correct option, since it is factor of 1535. Okay, so a very simple concept is there, which I tried to explain by taking smaller examples. You can choose more examples also, maybe 17 and 25. If you find what is a number, if 17 and 25 are divided, will give the same remainder. That is the difference of these two. By 8 you'll be getting the same remainder as 1 and 1. Okay, the same funda we have used over here. I hope you are clear. Now let's try this interesting problem. Sam has forgotten his friend's 7-digit telephone number. He remembers the following. The first 3 digits are either 635 or 674. The number is odd and the number 9 appears once. If Sam were to use a trial and error process to reach his friend, what is the minimum number of trials he has to make before he can be certain to succeed? The problem is based on probably permutation and combination. So let's try. So first of all, we try to find out the combinations with 635, and thus if the same combinations, if we double, we'll be getting the final answer for 635 and 674 both as well. So first of all, for 635. Okay. Now the number is of 7-digit and we are making the calculations over here for last 4 digits. Now there is a restriction on number 9 that it is appearing only once. Now I suppose number 9 is appearing at this place, that is this place, 4th place. Okay, the first 3 digits are fixed, that is 635. Now number 9 is coming at this place, so this is over here we are having a single choice, that is number 9. At the second place we have 9 choices from 0 to 8 because number 9 cannot come as 9 is appearing only once, and which has appeared over here at the first position. Okay, now for second place we are having 9 choices, and similarly we are having 9 choices for the third place. At this place we are having 5 choices, but since number 9 is appearing at this place, so it won't appear at this place, so we are having 4 choices to make the number odd. Okay, so in all it is 9 into 9 into 4, that is 324 choices we have. Similarly, if number 9 is over here, then here we have one choice, here 9 and 4, so it's further 324. So if number 9 is over here, so here we have 9 choices, here 9, here 1 and here 4, so further 324. After that, if number 9 is over here, so we have single choice over here, that is number 9, and here we have 9 choice, here 9 and here 9, so it is 9 cube, that is 729. So in all 324 into 3 plus 729 ways will be there if the first 3 digits are 635. So that would come 1701. So 1701 ways are there for 635, and similarly 1701 ways will be there for 674. So in all 1701 into 2, that is 3402 trial and errors will be there, or I can say trials are there. Okay, quite a simple problem. Now let's see this question. X, Y and Z are distinct integers that are odd and positive. Which one of the following statements cannot be true? X, Y and Z are odd integers. Okay, so let's check the first statement. X is odd number, Y is the odd number, and the square of odd number will be odd number only. So odd into odd will be odd only. So it's true. Okay, now x minus y whole square, that is odd minus odd, that will be even, and the square of even will be even, and even into odd will be even, so it is also true. Okay, now odd plus odd is even, even minus odd is odd, so an odd square is odd, and odd plus odd is even, so odd into even is even, so it is also true. Now this, it's odd minus odd is even, odd plus odd is even, odd plus odd, that is even, even minus odd is odd, so even into odd will be even only. So this statement cannot be true. I hope you are getting me. Now friends, let's take this problem. This is from CAT 2001. A student took 5 papers in an examination where the full marks were the same for each paper. His marks in these papers were in proportion of 6 is to 7 is to 9, 8 is to 9 is to 10. In all papers together, the candidate obtained 60% of the total marks. Then the number of papers in which he got more than 50 marks is. Quite a simple problem. We can assume that each paper is of maybe 200 marks. So in all, the total marks for 5 papers is 1000. Okay. And he is getting 60% of the total marks. So he obtained 600 marks, right? And the marks are in the ratio of 6 is to 7 is to 8 is to 9 is to 10. Consecutive numbers are there. That means the total of all these 5 numbers will be middle number into 5, that is average into 5, that is 40. Okay, so its total is 40. Now this first marks in the first paper, it is 6 out of 40. That means from 600 it will be 90. And the 50% marks, if the total marks in each subject is 200, then 50% marks will be 100. So he's getting less than 50% in this first paper. So one paper is there. Then second, it's similarly it is 15 into 7, that will be 105. So he'll be getting less than 50% marks in only one paper. That is this. In the remaining papers, he'll be getting more than 50% of the marks. So in all, the number of papers in which he got more than 50 marks is 4 out of 5. I hope you are clear. Now let's try this problem from geometry. A square whose side is 2 meters has its corners cut away so as to form an octagon with all sides equal. Then the length of each side of the octagon in meters is, see, this is a square, and we have cut the corners of that square, so we are getting a regular octagon. Okay, now I assume that this length is x, this length is also x, because we are forming a regular octagon. So if it is x, it will also be x, it will also be x. So this length will be 2 minus 2x. The total length is 2 and we are deducting x from this side and x from this side. So this length will be 2 minus 2x, and this will be same as this length. Okay, because this is also side of octagon and this is also side of octagon. Now we can see a right angle triangle over here, this. So we can calculate the length of this hypotenuse. Suppose it is s. So s square is equal to x square plus x square, that is 2x square, or we can say s is equal to root 2x. Now we can equate this length to this length. So 2x square, root 2x is equal to 2 minus 2x. Okay, so x will be 2 upon 2 plus root 2, and the length of side is root 2x, so side will be root 2 time of this. So it's 2 root 2 upon 2 plus root 2, or we can take root 2 as common, so it will be 2 root 2 upon root 2 root 2 plus 1. So it's 2 upon root 2 plus 1. I hope you are clear. Now let's try this problem. Let x, y and z be distinct integers. X and y are odd and positive, and z is even and positive. Which one of the following statements cannot be true? See, we can assume the values of x, y and z. That would be really simple. X and y are odd, so I just take x as this 1, y as maybe 3 and z as 2. Okay, now we have to find out that which of the statements is not correct. Okay, So it's y into x minus z whole square is even. We can calculate it, absolutely no problem. What x minus z is? It's 1 minus 2, that is minus 1 whole square. So minus 1 whole square is 1 and 1 into 3 will be 3. So it's an odd number. So this statement is not true. No need to check further because there is no none of these option, or there is no more than one options correct. So this is the only option which is correct. Okay. Alternatively also you can say that x is an odd number and z is an even number. So odd and even, the difference will be odd, and the square of odd will be an odd number, and odd number into odd number will be an odd number. Okay, so that then also you can solve the problem. So friends, I hope you might have enjoyed the session. We'll be doing more such problems from previous year CAT papers in our next session. Bye bye.